Hello, you watch But Heard Developer channel, where I develop a website for musicians. This is a continuation of the previous video, where I started the Laravel Octane project in Docker for local development. There you could notice that the main container is building every time. It is a bad solution. Firstly and most importantly, deployment and test runs on the server can run many times a day. Building the container each time, downloading and installing the same dependency is irrational and time-consuming. Secondly, consistency in production, staging and testing the development environment will be the same, without adjustment for version of any dependency. So today I'm going to move the Docker file from the main project to a separated one, and I will configure the CI script for build and push to Gitlab registry our container. So I create a new subgroup with name infrastructure. I am creating a project in the subgroup. His name swirl. There is a separated video about the structure of the project. Look if you want. I start a new project with a gitignore file. There is at least an idea directory. Not always, but there will be a separated video about it. Next, I move the Docker file and config supervisor from the main project to a new one. I will immediately create a readme file for demonstration. A simple command to build a Docker file. Docker build -t local /svol and the point. Point is a context, current directory. Local svol is the name of the image. You can name whatever you want. Using the docker image ls command, you can look at the images available on the machine. And here is my image. So I return to the Docker compose file in the main project, app service, and replace build section to image with just builded name. Restart containers, docker compose up -d, go to localhost /horizon. All good, Octane and Horizon work fine. Actually, this is an instruction for local work. If necessary, the developer pulls the project, builds an image, replace the image in the Docker compose file, run the test, and submit two projects for review. Next, the developer could send the container immediately to the registry, but it is a bad option because who know what he builds there. So I will set up a build on the server right now. I create a GitLab CI yum file in the root directory, and I begin to describe script from the list of stages. I have only one stage, build. Next, I describe the general rules for all jobs, default section, and please be careful with this. I have only one job, you may have several. For example, Docker files linter, which doesn't need default settings. First, I indicate the image. This is the image in which our job will run. Here are the same rules as when choosing Docker images. Version with patch and Alpine. Actually, this is the image from hub.docker.com. As I say, there will be many launches. It is not nice to download Ubuntu for them. Then it is a little difficult. GitLab allows us to connect services. In our case, Docker didn't. Docker in Docker service. That's the work of the Docker daemon. Our Docker container is a Docker client. Docker daemon allows us to push or build Docker images, and the client does not. You would notice it on the local machine because both the client and the daemon are installed locally. But go next. Then I write the block before script. It contains the login command to the Docker registry. Docker login with user, with password, and CI registry is registry where I want to log in. Username, password, and registry is predefined CI/CD GitLab variables. GitLab has a lot of variables for any cases. I did not create these variables. They are already ready and created automatically. For example, the username and password are created with the access of user who launched the job, and they will be removed after stopping the job. Everything is safe as possible. Next, I declare my own variable, image name. It is strict here. It must match the name in the register, which is already in the variable, CI registry image, and CI commit tag. Here we need to talk about tags in Git. Unfortunately, many developers do not use it and do not know what it is. Very simplified. Git tags is a branch which cannot be changed. This is very handy for releases. You can always roll back to previous tags without worry that the code may have changed. I'm talking about the code. Database migration are a separate story. And of course, versioning is very cool to implement with tags. The CI commit tag variables is the name of the tag. Next, I create the first job, build image. Describe the stage, build, and script to simple command. First of all, build image and push to GitLab registry. Docker push and image name, very simple. And as I said, versioning and the tag. I'm adding a rule according to which the job will start only for the tag in the letter V format with semantic version v001, for example. And that's all. But before I commit it, GitLab has a tool for checking CI scripts. Go to project pipelines and click to CI lint button. I have an error. First of all, before script should be an array, and if in rule is an option and should have colon. It looks okay, okay, but understand that this is only syntax check. It does not see logical errors. And I can commit. Commit is required for tags, do not forget. And two simple commands. First of all, create new tag, git tag v001, and push tag to repository. Git push origin v001. As you can see, GitLab run CI scripts. I wait for some time and receive a fail. I look at the execution code and see simple mistake. I forgot to add context to build command. I fix it and make a second tag. Wait for some times and all green, cool. Here it's necessary to understand. GitLab currently provides me with resources for the build. In the future, I will try deploy my own GitLab runner locally or on the some server. If you project owner, please remember, you must have a large capacity to launch GitLab runner. Remember that there are a lot of jobs per day and the developers do nothing while they are completed. So remember, optimize both the code and the server. I go back to the GitLab, go to deploy container registry and see my containers full with one tag v002 because first version are not deployed. In the top of this page you can see the CLI commands for manage GitLab registry, and copy button allows to copy URL to container. I use this URL for the image in the app service, and do not forget add tag, but it is a private registry. For use containers from here I need to login. Simply command docker login registry gitlab.com. One moment here, if everything is configured securely, instead of password I need to enter the access token with read registry access. Go to GitLab, personal account, preference, access tokens, add new tokens and generate token with access. All good, login successfully. I restart the container, go to localhost, go to localhost Horizon, all work, all good. I can stop here, but if you remember in the previous video there was one to do not install node, git and npm to production. I suggest building two containers, one for production and the other for development. Return to the CI script and make some changes. First of all, image name hard-coded string full core. I will not push this image to registry, but production and development image I going to push, so create name for both. The same logic, but /dev and /prod. It will create a directory inside Docker registry. Logics like this. First we build the base container, core container, with all required dependency and commands. Then on its basis we create a production, development or any other container, adding scripts and dependency as needed. And of course push this container to registry. There are other options, for example use two Docker files, but we will have to follow the update at the same time. Or we can make one Docker file, create some argument, what mode we use, develop, production and etc. But with these options all dependency will be downloaded and installed twice, or how many containers we have. So these options seems to be the most optimized. So I create two files, dev Docker file and prod Docker file, send source as argument. It is not necessary, but cases where we create a chain of Docker files are possible. So move install node npm and git to dev Docker file. In future, if you want, you can add xprofiles, xdebugs here, but my advice is better to create a separated container for this. xprofile load local work a lot, and of course do not set up it for production. And I leave the production Docker file empty except from and arguments. In this file we need to activate opcache, make some production config, hide errors and etc. I still haven't figured out what Octane needed for production, sorry. So I check CI script, make commits, make tag, wait some time and all cool. Look at the registry, to directory, prod and dev. And of course I have to test. First of all I run production container, try to run node command and node is missing. Next run dev container and node version, yes, works as expected. And the final touches. I created a ini extension where increase the maximum uploaded file size. This is needed in 100% of projects. Of course add copy command to Docker file, did not forget for docker ignore file, and describe readme documentation for work with this project. And a couple of final points. First, be careful with tags because developers often forget and create tags for local branches. It is an unpleasant story and it will be necessary to create some kind of check tag. And also know there are many linters for Docker files. They are cool. They automate what I said about versing everything about batch and etc. But setting up them is a bit difficult for me now. If you have a premium GitLab account, they integrate it very easy, directly inside merge request report. Please don't forget, Russians try to kill me, and if you have the opportunity, please write a letter to your politicians, asking them to allow Ukrainian to use weapon on the territory of Russia. It will save many lives, maybe mine too. Thank you.